because I think that it's an amazing experience and I think that you can do it being vegan.
Real
A
life.
thief wouldn't be vegan.
Of course.
Hello everyone! I have been planning this video for basically since before I came here. I've been wanting to make a veganism versus au pair video. And it's very exciting that it's coming along. I am receiving the responses and stuff like that from my friends Charlotte and Sandra. They're also vegan au pairs. And that being said, specifics that we have to talk about, me, Sandra, and Charlotte are all au pairing in Paris, France. So while our advice can be universal, it's specifically and especially relevant to France and Paris and the surrounding areas. Number one, vegan families. I get this all the time. Yes, you can get a vegan family. However, if you're looking for someplace specific, like per se Paris, it's going to be a bit more difficult, and I would venture to say impossible to find a vegan family. There is a Facebook group for vegan families. I can link it below if you want to check that out. If you are solely looking for a vegan family and you don't care about your location, I highly suggest checking that page out because I think it will be helpful to you. Quick vocab lesson before we start. Me and Sandra, we are live-in au pairs, which means that we live in our family's houses. Live out is where you live separately from your host family. You live in a studio apartment that they provide you. You don't live in their house with them every day. Charlotte is live out, and I will insert her bit or me reading her bit because she can't come into film here. Being live out is undoubtedly easier than being live in, as you can do your own food shopping and prepare your own meals. Be aware that if you have flatmates, there is a high possibility that they are non-vegans, and you'll have to adjust to that. I have had people ask me, when do I tell my host family? This question worries me a lot. They should know already that you shouldn't have a host family if they don't know you're vegan. It's so important that you were really upfront about this. It's not good to hide it. You don't want to be pretending you don't like meat and hiding during dinner. You want to make sure that you're able to be a part of the family. It's so much better of a relationship if you are 100% honest about it. It might take longer to find a family because as soon as they see vegan in your profile, they're gonna be like, oh, I don't want that in my house, which is fine because some people are like that. But once you find the family that is accepting, you'll be super grateful that you were upfront and honest about your lifestyle choices. My family only found out when I was offered homemade biscuits before Christmas. I do wish I'd told them before, as I dislike having to prepare animal products for the child. However, I work through an agency, so it was difficult to say this before I started the job.
I recommend you to tell your preferences in your profile description, because then the family has a chance to read and see if you're a perfect match for them. That's the best place for you to be 100% honest and tell exactly what you are looking for, exactly the kind of person you are. And before I get the job, it's a huge thing because they provide the food for you, so they should know beforehand.
Yeah.
Or if you have an interview, usually it's through Skype, tell it in the Skype interview and be like, hey, once you win their heart, to be like, hey,
Win their
I love
heart.
animals so much, so
Yeah,
I don't
because I'm a
eat
great
them.
person.
Yeah, so is it okay?
Will I have to cook meat? Will I have to cook dead animals in secretions for my family? Probably. That is one of the downfalls of this experience, and it's not that bad. I think it would be different if you grew up vegan. I, however, did not. So while I was vegan and living at home, my family was still eating meat and stuff in front of me. So it's not that big of a change for me. However, sometimes I do have to make it. Not as much meat, just because they know I really don't know how to make it, which I guess is a plus. I mean, I think it's just something that comes with the job, comes with the territory. It's not that bad. It's really not, especially if you have a family that's accepting of you and your lifestyle choices. They might not ask you to do it as often. It's livable. It's possible. It doesn't ruin the experience, but it probably will have to happen. When it's your turn, I don't know about other people, but like I make dinner on a few nights and usually I make everything pretty much vegan.
I was really lucky because in the interview that I had, they just told me that they like to eat healthy and they care about that, like a healthy organic lifestyle. I was like, oh, that's cool because I care about that too.
Yeah.
So when I arrived, I actually saw like the meals that the mother prepares the meals. So I saw that like seriously 90% of the meals don't have any animal products. I was really, really, really content.
So like,
with
do they eat meat at all, or do they?
Yeah, like sometimes, like in the weekend during like lunchtime or whatever, but it's not like
An everyday.
yeah. Even cheese, they don't eat that every day. or
Cool
eggs.
French people.
Even though we have chickens, they don't even eat eggs every day. I moved away, like my native country is Norway, so when I moved away, I became vegan. And when I moved to the States, it doesn't really matter where you are, it just matters what kind of people that you talk to, so you can find open-minded people or
You can always
close-minded
surround
people.
yourself with cool people. Like,
Exactly.
You're always able to do that. And even like, if the cultural awareness isn't there, you can find vegans basically everywhere. Like there are so many vegans in the world that we don't like.
Thanks to the internet.
Thanks. Social media.
So of the places that you've lived, which do you believe to be the most accommodating to a vegan au pair? Because I've only been au pair in one country.
Yeah.
But I've been on a world trip, so
Yeah, which is
for the
why I
last
asked
2 years.
you.
Yeah.
Because you've been to so many places.
Yeah.
And you kind of you stayed there for like multiple weeks at least,
Yeah.
and you kind of maybe have seen like just
Yeah.
the general culture. Like, which places do you think would be the most
Yeah.
accommodating to living
Yeah.
long term as a vegan, possibly with a host family?
Bali and Thailand was very good countries because it was cheap and they have a lot of fruit, a lot of produce. Hawaii had amazing fruit and produce, and they have a lot of vegan restaurants and options there, but it's so expensive. But I feel like
The
it was,
U.S., like the states in general are expensive. I
Yeah.
think.
I would definitely say that France as a country doesn't really understand the idea of veganism. I've had to explain it to a lot of people, and afterwards they still don't quite grasp it, as meats, cheese, and dairy products are all a very big part of the culture here. My host child can't understand it at all, unfortunately, even though I've tried to explain it. For me though, I think you'll encounter these problems anywhere, so make sure you're prepared to answer their questions and have a thick skin.
my native language is not English, so excuse my grammatical mistakes.
It's breaking down.